I'd like to welcome a group from Our Lady of the Peace School, which is actually it's at a Wheeling address, but it's in Marshall County. There are a few Wheeling addresses in Marshall County. And if they could all stand, they just filed into the President's Chamber. There's 8th grade class, and their teacher Renee Schneider here. Father Ondeck is here as well. And the principal, Maureen Kirsch, had to cancel at the last minute due to some family issues. Our Lady of the Peace is a Catholic school in Wheeling that they strive for academic success, and they prepare their students to be leaders in the community by learning, but also leading others down Christ's path. Would the Senate please make them welcome? And Mr. President, I know we have a lot of business to take care of, but if I could just have one more minute or possibly two of the Senate's time, I'm going to read something I prepared this morning. I ask for your indulgence and a bit of latitude to tell a story about one of these kids that I just introduced. I need just this 1 minute, I promise. So, although each and every one of these kids is special in their own way, there's one that is very special in my opinion and a very big part of my life. Cooper Blair is not only one of my son's best friends, but I consider him a part of my extended family. Cooper has said some things over the years I've never heard before, Mr. President. Many in this chamber have probably never heard these words. I'll give you a few examples. One day, Cooper came to my house and he said, "Hey, Mike, check out my new legs." Another time, this was just last summer, I was in the pool swimming with a bunch of kids and we were going to get out to play some basketball. Cooper said, "Hey, pick me in. I just got to put my legs on first, though." My last example is about 6 weeks before the 2016 election. I needed a release, and so I decided to go whitewater rafting. So I called up Cooper's dad and Cooper and another friend of mine, Rick, and his boy Luke, my son Matt. The place was closed, but we went over there. I knew a guy. We got a raft, and we started going down the river, and we had a guide with us. He knew what he was doing. We came up to this rock, big boulder. It was called Jumper's Rock, and it didn't look that big from the water, but we climbed up. And we're all standing on top of the rock, and then you look down, we were supposed to jump. My nephew was with us, he's our guide. I trusted him, I knew it was safe to do it, but I didn't want to do it. I felt like I was pretty high up. So I told my son to go first. He said, "I'm not going, Dad, you go first." And I was thinking, no way, but what I said was, I want to video everybody, so you guys have to go first. Well, while we were having this conversation, Cooper had his legs off, and he was in the air, and he jumped, and he yelled something. What he yelled was, "No feet, no fear." And he splashed down in the water, and then we all jumped after Cooper, and he led the way. I've known Cooper since he was an infant. He had both of his feet when he was born, and for the first 23 months of his life, he was born with bilateral club feet deformity, secondary to amniotic band syndrome. In his first 23 months of life, he had 24 separate sets of casts and 17 surgeries. That's 24 sets of casts and 17 surgeries in 23 months, in an attempt to try to correct his condition. It wasn't correcting. The doctors presented his parents with an unfathomable decision: stay the course with not so great odds, or have a bilateral above the ankle amputation. I cannot even begin to imagine the depth and the emotions surrounding that decision. Shortly thereafter, Cooper had his final surgery. Actually, his final foot surgery. He is accident prone like the rest of his family, and he's had some other surgeries. But he did undergo the bilateral above the ankle amputation. Doctors told his parents it would be months before he would ever walk. He's never walked to this point. And it would be months before he walked. Well, 2 weeks later, he wasn't walking. He was running. Cooper's very blessed. In fact, I've heard Cooper say, "I consider myself blessed because this is how God wanted me to be. God created me this way so I can help others." Mr. President and Senators, this young man said this before he was a teenager. Let me conclude by sharing a few of Cooper's accomplishments. Cooper's a member of the United States Junior Paralympic Team. That's the United States Junior Paralympic Team, and he set the national record in the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the 400-meter dash every year since age 9, and he still holds them. He was the only kid in the United States under the age of 17 to compete for Team USA Paralympic Track and Field Championships in Los Angeles last summer. Cooper took 4th place in the 200-meter dash in the 17 to 21 age group. He's 14 at the time he ran. His next goal is the Summer Paralympic Games in Tokyo in 2020. I hope to be there to support him. As a matter of fact, knowing Cooper's unrelenting will, I plan on scheduling that week off soon because I'm sure he'll be there. One of my favorite mini speeches, Mr. President, that I give my kids is this: life will present many challenges, and every single one of us will face adversity at some point in time. What separates the winners from the losers is how one reacts to that adversity. Well, Cooper Blair taught me that. Cooper Blair is a winner. I'd like to give him an extra special welcome to the West Virginia Senate Chamber and personally thank him for the positive impact he's had on my life.
Further introduction.